Hey y'all, it's Nancy, the Handy Scandy. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Whimsy Stamps channel today. I hope that everybody had a very blessed holiday season, a happy new year, and all those good things. And again, I welcome you back. And here we're just going to jump right on in. Today I have literally a rainbow of snowman cards. Now keep in mind as I show you all of the products and items that I'll be using today, everything will be listed and linked downstairs in the description box for ease of shopping or your convenience for whatever reason you might need to go look. It's all there for you. Now I am using the vellum Bristol Smooth, and I'm doing that because I'm going to be doing some ink blending, and I really like my ink blending results on that particular paper. And this stamp set, Snowman or Snowball family, is brand new to me, and it's not, what's the word that they use? Primed. My stamps aren't primed. So I'm just stamping each image a couple times before I get a really good impression. Now on this one, I did not want that star that the baby's holding because we're not making it a Christmas tree or a Christmas scene card. I just want the snowman, and so I simply put some masking paper over the star in his hands and removed that star. So there you can see that I have stamped out a mask of each of the images for all the different cards that I'm going to be making. And again, literally, it's a rainbow of cards. So there's a lot. There's more than, I think, what is it, normally 7 for Roy G. Biv? But I have like pink and red and orange. And then I have 2 shades of purple, a more blue purple and a more red purple to kind of fill in that gap. And then I have light green, dark green, teal. So I've expanded on my rainbow color palette a bit. But anyway, back to my process. So, excuse me. I'm using this Let It Go stencil for several different purposes on these cards. First, I am masking so that I can do the background stamping, and I'm doing a different stamp. You saw me hold out all of those different stamps. Each one of those is going to be on a card. So all these cards are similar, but they're all different. So use it for masking for the backgrounds. Also, I'll be using it for ink blending the backgrounds, and I'm going to be doing some emboss resist there. And that's why I'm masking each of the images on each of the cards. And that's also why I did not use one mask for each card. You know what I mean? I have a separate mask on each card versus using just one and taking it off of a card and putting it onto another. I hope that makes sense. Because my process, I don't often make multiples to this degree. So, yeah, my process was a little bit different. So I wanted each one of them to be covered, and you can see that they are. This particular background stamp, I think, is gorgeous. Well, I was going to say more, but we'll get there. We'll get there. I tend to get ahead of myself. I'm sure you guys have noticed that by now. I do apologize. So here's all the different background stamps that I'm going to be using. But I also want to say the third thing that I use the Let It Snow stencil for is for stenciling snowflakes onto the background. I have some distressed snowfall grit paste that I'll be stenciling on each one of them. So each one of these, you can see the name of them except for Sprinkles. I have the Sprinkles background stamp, the Roarsome Skin background stamp, and the Vintage Script. Those were not in their packages. So again, I will have everything linked and listed downstairs in the description box for your convenience, for ease of shopping, all those things. If you just want to go over to the Whimsy Store and look around, feel free to do that. Use those links downstairs and they'll take you right there. So on the very first card, which is this one, I just wanted a simple rainbow. I didn't want all the bells and whistles that are going on each of the other ones. And I wanted one card that had the entire rainbow, and that's this one, and I love it. Now, because I'm using Festive Berries, which is a pink instead of a red, I get more of a coral for that red to yellow combination instead of an orange, and I love it. And I love the green. It kind of has a Northern Lights kind of look to it, the way it's kind of smeared there a little bit. I love it. Look at that stark line. Oh, that just makes my heart happy. I don't do a lot of masking, and I don't know why. Maybe maybe this is a reminder to me to do that. Now, a couple things that I want to say when you are cleaning off your stencil and wiping out the ink off of your stamped and heat embossed background, leave the stencil in place. Like on this one, I do it right. I leave the stencil in place, I wipe the ink off of the stencil, and then off of the embossed resist. That way I don't accidentally smear any of that ink onto the white space. Now here's where I'm at so far. I have each of them stamped and masked and then embossed with a different background stamp and the ink blending. And then I finished, that wasn't my whole rainbow, but I do finish them off. And now here, as you can see, is where I'm doing the stenciling. Now these big snowflakes are spread out, so if your project isn't huge, you might need to do one layer, let it dry, and come back in and fill in those spaces, which is what I did. So I have all of them done, and I'm using the Wonky stitched rectangle dies. The larger of the ones, the larger die is used to cut out my background panel, and then the smaller of the dies is used to cut out all of my card panels. And look at all that color. It's so happy. And when those masks come off, like that reveal is like, oh, don't you love a good reveal? It makes my heart kind of happy. Excuse me. So I'm going through this kind of fast. So let me say, if you have any questions at all, if anything doesn't make sense, if you're not sure what I said about something or anything like that, make sure you drop me a comment downstairs. I would love to answer your questions. This was very, very easy process. It might look more complicated than it was just because I have the whole rainbow, but it really wasn't. It took me a long time. It took me a couple days because I didn't have a whole lot of time to dedicate each day. But to be honest, I don't even know how to calculate the amount of time. But each card, if I had only done one card, didn't take long at all. It really didn't. So I would encourage you, don't back away from these cards. They're so stinking cute. Look at them. They're so happy. I think this one might be my favorite because I just love that entire rainbow background. But I love the way all of them came out, how the stamping is kind of sketchy and it doesn't cover the whole background. It really makes my heart happy. What do you guys think? Do you have a favorite? I'm kind of liking all of them. Now the trees I'm not quite as happy with for various reasons. I don't hate them at all, but I'm just not quite as happy as I am with the rest of them. So my card bases, if you can't tell, these are A2 size cards, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So yeah. Oh, there's the one with the forest or the silhouette tree silhouette stamp. That's what it's called. And I think they're all sweet, sweet, sweet. I like the bubbles. That's really cute too. I could tell you something that I like about each one of them that makes it my favorite, but I won't. So guys, again, drop me a comment downstairs. Let me know your thoughts. And of course, your questions, if you have any of them. All the products from Whimsy will be linked and listed downstairs for your convenience. And we'd love it if you'd join us over on the Whimsy Stamps Facebook page, as well as Pinterest and Instagram. And again, I thank you for joining me, guys. Until next time, this has been Nancy, the Handy Scandy for Whimsy Stamps. Mwah! I'm out.